your genitals more. It can shrink it.
Because people don't know the kind of lubricants to use.
Welcome to the VOIICE Talk show, where we give voice the unspoken of Africa to inspire change. I am Richard Siao, your host, and with the VOICE Out session today, we are talking about HIV and AIDS. So we are going to talk about certain statements that we posted on our Instagram page, and we had you cast your polls on these statements. We're going to give our perspective on it as well. So before we start, we'd have our guests. No, they are not guests. They are members from the VOICE community. Our voices introduce themselves, and we begin. So let's.
Hello, I'm Voice Gloria.
Voice Masmari.
Voice Sylvester.
Voice Binding.
I'm Voice Edna.
Okay, so we will go right into the first statement. Our first statement says HIV is somewhat still a death sentence. HIV is somewhat still a death sentence. Do you agree or disagree?
Okay, so the sole reason why I chose to agree with that statement is because of stigma. Because studies have shown that, especially here in Ghana, when someone is HIV positive and people get, even sometimes the person is not HIV positive, but the sickness causes the person to lose a lot of weight, they start to stigmatize the person, they start to shy away from the person. So most of the time people don't get checked, and people don't try to hide their status, and this comes with not going for your drugs, among other things. And even when family members get to find out that you're HIV positive, I think somewhere, my lecturer did this survey, somewhere in the eastern region, they hide the person. So nobody sees the person doesn't come out until the evenings. Okay, so then they are deprived of their drugs and among other, personal care. So that's what I'm saying. That is the main reason why I even agreed that it was a death sentence, because of the stigma they face, and some of these petty things, they're not being able to get access to the antiretroviral drugs. So I think that is, but apart from that, I think we are on the right track when it comes to HIV. Yeah.
So the reason I vacillated between agreeing and disagreeing is basically what Voice Gloria has said, because when it comes to the virus in itself, technology and science has made it possible for us to be able to deal with it, such that people attain undetectable viral loads, and they can't even transmit it when they have unprotected sex to other people. But the reason why I almost agreed was because of the stigma attached to it, and also because of the fact that there is so much fear and so much I don't know, people imagine so many horrific things such that they don't even go out there to go and get tested. So ignorance and stigmatization makes it a death sentence, because people die as a result of not knowing or as a result of not seeking. I mean, I spoke to a doctor friend who said he did a test for some kids, and then some of them tested positive, but even after they tested positive, they said they would.
So the next statement says, I don't mind dating an HIV positive individual. Vote first. I don't mind dating an HIV positive individual. Please raise your card so that it's very clear. Look at Jojo. Okay. So you all agree? Okay. So he's the only one disagreeing. So let's get him first.
No, honestly speaking, as much as I disagree, I do have an appropriate answer to give, because I think I'm the reason why I disagree is because I think I'm scared, and I'm ignorant of, probably there are things where that you can do to prevent my children from having HIV, even me from having HIV. I mean, who knows my immune system? So I'm scared, Kaka. So that's why I disagree.
I don't blame him for that, because what I would say is that but honestly, what I would say is that growing up here, the Ghana AIDS Commission did, they scared us a lot when it came to publicity about HIV and AIDS. It looked like a death sentence, and even if but then when hope came, they are not doing as much to project that hope. You understand? They are not advertising the hope that comes about, the whole prep, the what's it called, the children, it's being possible for you to have a spouse who will be HIV negative, you being able to live long if even you are HIV positive.
Scary it is. I think they should have.
Yes, they should have also preached the hope when the hope came. You understand? So I don't blame him. So me personally, knowing what I know now, if maybe I have a partner who is HIV positive, I wouldn't leave that person because of that, because I know there's something that can be done about it. And even that might give the person hope to even take their drugs more and live longer, because at least they have something to lose. They have a family, someone who cares for them. So
if you're on PrEP, you're fine. And if you feel like you put yourself in a position where you are exposed, you just go on PrEP, the post-exposure prophylaxis. And also, if the person's viral load is low, you know that you are good. So if you're seeing someone, it's the first question that I it's one of the first things I would like to know. And so I don't mind dating somebody who is HIV positive.
I also agreed, because as she said, having the knowledge now, there are lots of drugs around can be taken, and you can have a future, you can have children that might not even get the condition. So since there's that possibility, I would consider it.
To me, I think even though you're on the medications, you still need to get a counselor to counsel you. And then if it's your partner that is, you should get a counselor as well, so that you know how to get in contact with the person, if maybe orally, sexually, whatever. But you need to get a counselor to counsel you as well.
Okay. 33% of people agree that they don't mind dating HIV positive individual. 67% of people disagree. So what do you think? There's a lot of work to do. Yeah, I think they are not really helping. Yes. No, but I feel like, see the way love is rare.
See, okay, so I wanted to answer the question. I think I'm ignorant, like I said, but then with what they've said, I'm a little bit informed. Okay, so I think there's a lot of sensitization that has to go, honestly speaking, especially in the rural areas. That's where the superstition is. Okay, I don't think the rural areas, they go through so much stigmatization, because they don't believe. Theirs is more of the belief. They don't believe that like, I remember I read this paper by Benjamin Kwanzaa. Okay, if you people want to find more works on it, I read it. There was this guy who was plowing the land of his wife's father. Okay, the woman is HIV positive. He went to check and he was also HIV positive. But to him, he said he didn't believe that he was HIV positive. He didn't believe that even his wife was HIV positive. You get it? Exactly. So they are just living there with HIV. Theirs is banked on belief. Okay, and there are places even like somewhere in Eastern region, Kobo Dumase area there. That place, people because of unemployment, some of the ladies went to Ivory Coast
came back with children and they were all HIV positive, they had to go to herbal like people who prepared herbal medicine because they felt like it was a curse that had been imposed on them, but actually it was the disease. You understand? So when it comes to the rural areas, you have the sensitization doesn't necessarily have to do with the stigma and all that. It has to do with the beliefs and the superstition. Yeah.
So the next statement says, I know someone who's HIV positive. So, that's interesting. Do you need to say anything? 60% of people know someone and 40% they don't. Okay. The next statement says, I know about PrEP and PEP. Okay, so let's have someone talk about that.
So that you are going to look for pets. Oh no, this one is I want you to address one thing. The stress you go through to get pets is not a joke. And that friend had to tell another friend to go and lie. I'm mad. They said we should go and bring police. Just one pet. Yeah, so put it in that. Why is it so difficult to get pet?
That I cannot answer. That's why initially I was saying the PEP stands for post-exposure prophylaxis. So especially in the context of the health facility when you're working, and probably you attended to a patient with a needle who is positive, and probably you left it somewhere and you got pregnant with it. Yeah, that is when it starts. So I think first you wash it down procedure. So I think you start the medication and you take it for some months, and then you go for your first testing, 3-4 months. Then you go for your first testing to determine whether you've gotten it or not. So for the PrEP, you take it pre-exposure prophylaxis. So I don't know, mostly it's associated with people like us, those that are sexually active, gay men and those people. Yeah, so you take it daily, on a daily basis. Yes, you take it on a daily basis.
Why gay men though? Because heterosexual sex and homosexual. What I'm saying is that why is it that the first thing they talk about when it comes to homosexual relations is
because MSM men have a very high chance of contracting, especially the receptive partner. So they have like a high probability of. And also and then another group of people that we usually take PrEP is that if you have a partner that is positive, you go on PrEP. That's just common sense. Because in as much as they have they may have undetectable viral loads, they experience viral blips where the virus it can come up so you have to be on it.
That's why Jojo disagrees. So because it seems unstable.
Taking the drugs are very, very, very important because look, I always use this guy as an example, Magic Johnson. Now he could easily pass as an HIV negative person, even though he's still positive. Let me just get that out. Even in the 90s, it was seen as a death sentence. You understand? So you get me. If you take care of yourself very well, you can live through your 70s, right?
I don't think HIV would put a limit on your life. It's some other, it won't kill you. Okay, so 60% agree that they know about PrEP and PEP. 40% disagree that they know about it. The next statement says, I usually choose unprotected sex over protected. Macho, what done? No, but in Ghana, for you to vote. Oh God. Okay, so let's have
A few, like.
I'm in the let me mine is very short. I'm in the middle with this because if you know the person's HIV status, this not maybe you've met and you are just vibing and you've gone to do it because the person doesn't look like the person has AIDS, but you know the person's HIV status, that he's negative and I'm also negative, then you can opt for the choice of non-protection, especially even if you are trying to conceive. You understand? So you can opt for no protection. But if you don't know the person's status, the person doesn't know your status, you yourself don't know your status, I don't think the best thing to do is to engage in unprotected sex.
HIV aside, there are other like STIs and things like that, and even if, and also how will you be sure that the person is negative? Because somebody can get tested today and test negative, but then the virus has a window period of 3 months before manifesting, so maybe the person still has it, but it won't show up in the test, so you can never really know that somebody is really negative. So unprotected sex, I don't think I will do something like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best tested way is abstain. Just abstain. It's simple as that. But to answer the question, but to add to what my voice Madi and voice Gloria said, their STDs you cannot just see with your naked eyes. Some will not even manifest until much later. So the best thing, my people, is just have protected sex. Simple as that.
To add to the other STIs too, I remember there was this. I have this family friend. Okay, just recently he went to donate blood to someone. Like a family, it's a whole family thing I don't want to go into, but he went to donate blood, and when they screened his blood, they saw traces of syphilis.
When you see the symptoms, probably in a week or two, it might vanish, it might heal, and you might think it's gone, but it's like asymptomatic, it goes back, so the virus is just walking around in you, but you're not showing signs and symptoms.
Can I ask a question? Is it true that syphilis can cause brain damage and it can make your genitals small? It can shrink it.
The symptoms.
I have a friend who has
So it's becoming smaller.
Yeah, I said it's like a
That one
shrinking.
there.
The symptoms. No, listen. No. You are saying this can cause madness, it can cause blindness, but what would you notice within yourself as a human being to realize that, hey, this could be syphilis?
So from my friend, what he told me is that first of all, he came as rashes all over his chest, all over his body. He had the rashes like for a very it would come and to go, like what he said. It would come and to go. Then he went to the hospital and he went to find out that he had syphilis. So the drugs they prescribed for him, he said he felt that it was not okay. So he had to go to the herbalist. They brewed some concoction for him. More than 5 bottles. Big one. They said, because from what he said, he's right. It is on and off. You would think it's gone, but it's not gone. It's hiding inside. And what really got to me was the fact that it can destroy your brain, destroy your liver, and shrink your... Hey!
Why are you asking? Aren't you a virgin?
Okay, so 22% agree that they usually go for unprotected sex over protected, and 78% disagree. The next one says that PrEP should be made available in Ghana. Do you agree or disagree? PrEP.
Okay, yeah, because whether I like it or not, there are people who are sex workers here in Ghana. You don't know the status of the people you are going to have sex with. Also, there are people who are living with partners who are positive. Yes, so I think it should be readily. I mean, come on, if we want to curb the spread of the disease, I think it is the right way to go. Yeah, but then we should be told about the side effects and also regulate it in such a way that it's not handy to any person at all. Yes.
I think PrEP should be available to everybody who wants to access it. Yeah, I think PrEP should be very available.
So I just want to share a story, a very short story. I have a friend of mine who had been chasing this girl for almost all his for a very long period. So one thing led to another, one thing led to another. He got the girl and they had sex. After the whole thing, the girl told the boy that, "See, listen, I have to come straight with you. I have HIV. I have HIV." The boy too, innocent as he was shaking. One thing led to another. He said, "No, Charlie, Morona, they go check my HIV status." God being so good, he was negative. So I think this is a very good medium for us to say that. So that's right. I mean, it all backs the whole reason why God hasn't been good yet. Okay, fine. No, so that is why I'm saying that with that, there's a need for us. He did. I'm not sure he knows that there was those things. So, if one, there was sensitization of it, and then two, it is made available because we just shared a story about how it is difficult to get.
Now you saying that it should be something that you could just get off the countertop. Well, hold on. Let me finish the question. I'm just saying that is this something you should get off the countertop, like you are going to buy painkillers? I go and I want to buy PrEP. Okay.
But for some people, their argument is on moral ground, saying that if you make it available, people will just be having sex with anybody and just that's the argument.
Century when technology is like where you can find sexually related materials just at the snap of your fingers. I think it's something that should be. You can. How can you control somebody from having sex, or it's part of you. It's part of life. It happens. Oh, sorry, I wanted to finish the story. So you just say. I wanted to say something. You see, I did my national service in the village. I'm Frega to be precise. And you find girls as little as 14 years old getting pregnant. You find people like 12-year-old, as little as 12 years old, sexually active. For those people, how do we protect them? It all boils down to the whole thing. I don't know if you're getting the idea. So that is me. I am talking for those who are in the village, the rural people. That 12-year-old girl who doesn't have any source of entertainment, and some one boy would dada her to enter the room, and they start doing things. It happens.
There are systems for those things, but I don't think now they are working so much, because I know they're supposed to be like adolescent clinic at villages, hospitals, that where you can walk in and talk with someone, and they are supposed to, especially the community of nurses, they're supposed to organize those talks, go to school health, all those things are there.
Just as a whole adult, a university student, a national service personnel goes into a hospital in the city and they are telling them that, oh, because of the way you look, you might be positive. Imagine in the villages. Even if a girl is seen walking into that clinic, that means what? The girl is promiscuous. You can imagine the kind of fingers that will be pointed at the girl. You understand what I'm saying?
You take the details, and probably the next day you call the person and inform the person that this is the issue. Then probably they come to the hospital and you see them.
86% of people agree that PrEP should be made available. 14% disagree that it should be made available. The next statement says, I think this is the last statement actually. I usually have a conversation on STDs with my sexual partner. Do you agree or disagree? And I'm saying it also because all of you agree. Okay, people don't do it because it's almost like an uncomfortable conversation to have.
Depends on the context. Like I always talk about context, because sometimes it's not what you say, it's the way you say it. You understand? I mean, this conversation could be had on a very relaxed kind of thing, like, oh, have you heard about this disease? Hey, they say something that's a scam. If you do this and you do this and you do that, you are going to get it too. You understand me? I mean, it just opens up for like you to have such discussions, but it's not always something like, if you go and sleep with another girl, me there you get this thing, don't go and bring this thing and give it to me, or me I don't like it. That one is just going to, not make your partner come to you, because even if they are going to do it, would they come and tell you that they are doing it? So if they are going to do it, you better make sure they protect themselves wherever they are going to do it before they bring you something. You understand me? I mean, let's take a look at herpes, for instance. If there's herpes might not be prevented if you wear condoms, because there has to be a breakage on the person's skin, and then the contact, you come into contact with the person, and then you get the herpes. So if you don't have such a conversation with your partner, then he too is going to do some sukums behind your back. You understand me? And during the sukums, he sees something like that, but he thinks that he's wearing a condom, so he's free. You can imagine what he's bringing back home to you. You understand? So you just have to create this whole atmosphere of, okay, let's find a way to make it more comfortable and not to point fingers at each other. You understand? Yeah.
I like the way you said the context and how you have the conversation, because I think even Richard, we've discussed this before. Is the way you put it, because you can't just meet somebody and start talking to them and the first question, do you have HIV? Everybody's going to lie to you. Like most people, because they know the stigma attached to it. So you put it out there, and then like maybe you just it's a gradual thing, because somebody cannot trust you with that kind of information in the first instance. So you have to know how you put it out there, and then make them aware, like that if they have you make them aware that, like, it's just something that you should know, but like you're okay with it or not. Like you should just have that kind of like fair understanding before you push that question. But it's definitely a conversation to have, like their status and then their ST whatever. Yeah, you should have
HIV. Yeah. So let's take it for example. Two people have HIV. Okay, is it, and they are in a relationship? Do they have to use protection with each other? Or, I mean, they have nothing to lose. Both of them have HIV.
Yeah, there are different types. I think there's type 1 and type 2.
Viral loads might not be at the same level, so you don't know who might.
There's type 1.
Oh, but I think in Ghana mostly is the type 1.
There's types.
Yeah, there were type 1 and type 2. But Ghana is mostly, I think, predominantly we have that HIV 1.
Health workers, you see, when it comes to having sex, okay, the condoms can easily break. So, because people don't know the kind of lubricants to use. Water-based. People don't know that. So, like, I wish you guys would put it out there. You see, there's water-based and there's oil-based lubricants, but people mostly, like, because people use oil-based lubricants because they can even take shea butter and they think that it's a lube.
The possibility of friction happening is kind of high, but the water-based is safe.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching the Voice Out session where we spoke about HIV and AIDS. It has been very interesting, eye-opening, and informative. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook at VOIICE Community, and also our foundation, VOICE Foundation, where we fight against gender-based violence and its related mental health issues. So until next time, keep supporting us, keep pushing, and keep being the voice for the voiceless. Bye bye.